All right, glad to have you back. We are now on the last leg of the show. The Public Affairs section of the U.S. Consulate, in collaboration with the Field of Skills and Dreams, a leading vocational, technical and entrepreneurship training institute, will on April the 10th and 11th train 120 emerging Nigerian entrepreneurs in Port Harcourt, Rivers State.
Now, the two-day workshop is aimed at equipping the entrepreneurs with the requisite skills and entrepreneurial know-how to enhance their success in the business world.
All right, with us in the studio are first the Public Affairs Officer of the U.S. Consulate, Lagos, Ms. Darcy Zotter. Good morning to you, Darcy. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And with her in the studio as well is the CEO, Field of Skills and Dreams VTE Academy, the implementing partner, Ms. Omowale Ogunride. Good morning to you and thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
All right,
Welcome.
Darcy, first off, let's talk about the collaboration of the U.S. Consulate with Field of Dreams. And we understand this is the second batch of the program that we'll be holding in Port Harcourt. But tell us all about it. What inspired this program?
What inspired this was that the Department of State has a global entrepreneurship week. So this is part of what we do. And we were sitting around my office thinking, what can we do in Nigeria? And as I mentioned before, I didn't want to do just another talk fest. You know, as I've said, it's just, I can't deal with that. So we wanted to do something practical. So we kind of went back and forth. And as we worked out our vision, one of the people with whom I work mentioned Omowale and her school. And he said, I think I know the person that could realize what we're trying to do. And we were looking for something that was skills-based, something that when these people walked away, they would have something. Not just a feel-good session, but real skills. That was one thing. Two, we wanted a platform that we could stay engaged with these people. We didn't want to just take them, go, okay, go out there, make your business, and not see them again. So all of these things came together, and we knew that FSD, one, could teach the skills, knew the skills, two, had the capability of staying in touch. So she had the right platform. And that's why we went out, worked out our vision together, and that's how we came to collaborate.
Wow.
Well, interesting. Let me bring you in here, Omowale. The first edition that took place, if you have to make an assessment of how it is, did it meet your expectation from all the challenges, from all the successes, from all your plan? How far from your original target did you hit?
I think we exceeded our expectations.
Great.
In terms of, the first thing was that we had over 500 applications and we wanted 100. And to pick out the 100 was a very big task because almost everybody qualified. And then after we had picked out the 100, we thought so many of them will not show up. But then they all did show up. And till date, this is 1 year hence, they have been in touch with us, with themselves. They formed other partnerships. Their businesses have grown. There are success stories that are almost on a daily basis.
That was in Lagos?
In Lagos.
Okay.
And the participants came from all parts of Nigeria. We had people from Rivers State, from Abuja, from Ondo State, Ekiti State, and up till now, they are in touch and working together and doing amazing things. So it exceeded our expectations, and I think that was what led to the idea of taking it to Port Harcourt. Okay,
so Darcy, with what you just said, of course, the interaction with the participants of the first edition, what would you say about the entrepreneurial skills of Nigerians, really? Because, of course, you know that there is high unemployment rate. So what would you say that is really good about the skills?
I would say, one, what these entrepreneurs bring to the table is passion. They bring passion, they bring energy, and they bring commitment. And as I've said, just when I feel like, oh, what's going to happen to Nigeria? You meet these people and you think, that's what's going to happen to Nigeria. These people are going to get their businesses off the ground and they're going to provide a solution. But what I've also observed is when you have all of this passion and energy, what you need to have with it is skills. And that's what a lot of people were lacking. You know, they had a vision for doing shoemaking or food processing or an IT company, but they didn't know how to take it, like I say, from the kitchen outside. They could sit and talk about it, but they didn't know how to realize it. And that's what we were working on, so that people would be able to say, okay, I need to do this next, and then that next, and then that next.
Wow. Now, Moale, these skills that are being groomed and being discovered, what area of need are they meant to meet?
I think first and foremost, what we are kind of teaching, like she said, is business strategy and a business plan. You know, when we were younger, there were these books that taught us the how, and that is what a lot of people need. They have the idea, but how do I turn this idea into reality? And so our main focus is that, aside from practical skills. For many of those who come for the Imagine Entrepreneurs Conference, they even have the practical skills already, but they don't know how to turn it into money. And we're not just talking about money that just feeds you, money that actually transforms your life. So we want to take them from micro to actually medium businesses. They can access funds, they can become employers of labor, and so that is the main focus. Now, other skills that are being taught, of course, for Port Harcourt, is a bit different from what we did in Lagos. We're doing fashion designing, agri processing, food processing, ICT and technology, and energy, because it's the Niger Delta area. So skills in oil and gas, solar installations, and things like that will also be added to it in Port Harcourt.
Okay, I wanted to ask about, first off, why Port Harcourt next after Lagos? What is the drive? And then what the number of, you know, the participants this time around? Because you talked about the challenge of even selecting participants last year during the first edition.
Well, maybe I'll say Port Harcourt because it's central to the Niger Delta area. And we're not just helping emerging entrepreneurs, we're also creating employment for them. We're ensuring that their businesses are sustained. And that is something that is kind of lacking in that zone. Last year, for instance, in fact, in the last 2 years, we've done projects in Calabar and Enugu. And we realized that when you want to do a project for just 20, you actually screen over 100 people. So people are yearning to be taught how to do businesses in those areas. It's not like Lagos where everywhere you turn to, you find support. So that solves the idea of why did we take it to Port Harcourt. It's central to that zone. Now, we increased the number to 120 in Port Harcourt because we've done 100 and we realized that we can do more. And then the little difference is that in Lagos, we had over 500 applications. For Port Harcourt, we had just 300 and something applications. And so it shows that, number one, I feel many people are not even sure it's going to be worth their while. And so they're a bit reluctant. And then traveling to Port Harcourt might have been an issue for some. However, we did not even select 120. We selected 121. Wow. Because every single one of the 337 applications we got was very good. So turning down that last person was very difficult, and so we had to exceed that number. So it's a need that we are meeting in that zone. And looking at the traction, the success stories from Lagos, what we have in Lagos, we're so sure that we're going to have great success.
Okay. Darcy, let me come to you on this. I wonder what opportunities lie out there for those who are participating at this two-day conference in Port Harcourt.
There's quite a few opportunities. One, first and foremost, is that this will allow them to network. So one of the things I want to say about this conference is that what we, the US government, was able to bring to this conference was a lot of the mentors and the trainers are actually our alumni. are U.S. government exchange program alumni, which is just amazing because these people have a lot of skills and talent. So that's the first thing. We've got these emerging entrepreneurs, putting them in touch with successful people. The second thing that we'll do is that we're also including banks. So, and we're also going to give them some tips on how to access those funds. The third thing that we're going to do is that we will follow up with these people, and we will also, you know, help them along the way. So there's mentoring. Another thing is we're going to be teaching these courses that were put out by the Young African Leadership Initiative.
Okay.
We're doing that. Moving on. At the U.S. Consulate in Lagos, we also have public affairs grants that some of these people may want to access. We have something called the United States African Development Fund, which is specifically for entrepreneurs. So there's a whole host. So one of the things, Mike, I wanted to make clear is that we're not giving out money. We just don't have enough money. We'd like to, but we can't. But what we can do is provide networks, mentoring, connections, because in this economy, the 21st century economy, networking is a primary key. And that's what we have to offer. And so I look at people like yourself and Omowale, who are alumni, and you're the people that are going to lead this forward.
So what was the criteria used, Darcy, I'm asking you this question, the criteria used to select the participants for the Port Harcourt
The people
program?
we reached out to were part of this Young African Leadership Initiative network. So we reached out to them, and we looked for people who had identified themselves as entrepreneurs. We looked for people who were able to more clearly than others articulate what they planned to do, why they wanted to participate in this. Because the other thing I learned from last year was the fact that some people think it's easy to be an entrepreneur. So I just want to emphasize, it's not. It is not. I'm not an entrepreneur. Omowale is. I'm not. Why not? Too risky. So that was one of the other things we were sifting and sorting for. Who were the people that really had that entrepreneurial spirit, that sort of risk-taking, that vision? There's a lot that goes into being an entrepreneur.
Okay, Omowale, let's break it down from take it up from where she just talked about. Now, when it comes to being that entrepreneur, what are really the qualities in making up an entrepreneur? The one that can sustain, the one that can be out there, not just starting today and then he ends there.
Quite a number of things, but totally different from what people believe.
Okay.
Number one is the courage and the fortitude to just face it, take the risks and go on. Number two is diligence. And diligence in the sense that it takes a lot to be a successful entrepreneur. We're not talking about a 9-to-5 job. We're talking about a job that keeps you up till 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and then you are up again at 5 because your customers are calling, you have things that you have to do. So entrepreneurship is not for lazy people. It's not for people who just think they are looking for money. And the other thing is integrity. These are qualities that are not really emphasized, but we teach and we have seen work. We've been doing this for about 15 years, and we've realized that even though we've trained thousands of people, the ones whose businesses are sustainable and who are able to grow it are the ones who understand these soft skills. Integrity will keep your customers coming back. Integrity will ensure that even if you lose some, you would win the ones that will actually help your business to grow. And then what people really talk about is money. Money comes after. You can grow your business even without access to other people's money. But then, for this particular program, we ensure they have access to money. And one testimony I would share is that for the Lagos event, 2 weeks afterwards, the first person got a grant from one of the banks that attended the event. And since then, it's been like that for me.
I might just become an entrepreneur.
It's really exciting. It is when you're with these people and they're so filled with energy and dreams, and you can just see it in their faces that really you want to help them. Yeah. You want to help them.
Okay, Darcy, I want to ask you a double question. First off, the 2 days for the conference, are they really enough to instill all these values into the emerging entrepreneurs? One, and then why this special interest in Nigerian youths? What does the U.S. government stand to gain from this?
Okay, thanks. Looking at the first question, is 2 days really enough? Absolutely not. You could teach entrepreneurship for years, but that was one of the things that we decided to do, was that we wanted to stay in touch with these people. So when they walk away, they know they finish on Wednesday, they know what they have to do on Thursday. Okay. And on Friday, they're going to have questions they didn't have on Wednesday. And that's where FSD comes in. They're poised to answer those questions. So it's a continuous learning process. Second thing that we did was we made a commitment to do a stock-taking event. So at the 6-month mark, we invited everybody back, and I was pleased that 67 of the original 100 came back. Now, I would agree too with Omowale that my expectations were exceeded. I kind of said to myself, if we get 10%, if we get 100, that's good. But we've gotten way more than that. So that again is testimony to the Nigerian spirit. Okay, next question. Why is the US government doing this? There's a saying that whither goes Nigeria goes Africa. And if you're going to be in Africa, you got to be in Nigeria. So that was one of the reasons we wanted to do it here. Secondly, we know that an economically stable Nigeria is also going to be a politically stable Nigeria.
True.
It's in the United States people's interest to have a stable Nigeria, which is a cornerstone to a stable Africa. So it's sort of a long-term investment. Do you know what I mean? And it's what I would call kind of a win-win situation. What's good for Nigeria is also good for the United States.
Right. When it's good for Nigeria, it's good for United States.
I think we should dust our shoulders.
If you're free, I know you have your show, but if you're free, you're welcome to come down to Port Harcourt.
That'd be great. That'd be great. I would love to be an entrepreneur now. There are more opportunities.
Yes,
Thank you very much, Darcy Zota, Public Affairs Officer of the United States Consulate General in Lagos. Thank you so much for coming. And Omowale Ogrinde, CEO, Field of Skills and Dreams, VTE Academy. Thank you for coming.
A lovely Ankara print here.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful. That's great.
Oh, okay, I should tell. I'll send it to you too.
Okay.